Hey folks, Disturbed here again. Thought I'd stream some of the Forsaken mission. Done a couple of 85s already. I'm keen to get it done quickly as I want the build tokens. I need to get the ship, I've got my shipyard finished. I've got a quick repair to do on the fleet that I use. I've been experimenting with the music, seems a bit loud. Let me see if I can play about with the music volume a little bit. Hopefully that's okay. I've been playing about a little bit with the on the map repair that got added as part of the update today, and every time I've tried it, it's not worked. I'm only trying it with free repairs, just to try and instant repair bits. Been hits on 85s. Picture quality on my monitor looks awful. Oh well. Don't normally do the FM this early in the week. I normally leave it until about Friday, mainly so there's a bit less competition in markets, but I want to get it out of the way, pretty much. Had the work in progress come out today and this state of the game thing. I've yet to digest it all properly. Unimpressed with the fact that the work in progress has no dates in it, and I've commented about it on the thanks for the host price. Commented about it on the forums, and Doom Rooster replied to the 2 comments above mine and ignored mine. So obviously he didn't like it. So the fact there are no dates in the work in progress to me means go away. Means everything is effectively coming soon. And my comment ended with basically the next time I'm going to spend money on this game is also coming soon. They've the state of the game thing. I read it once this morning and didn't really read it in a great deal of detail, but it sounds like they're massively overcomplicating everything. Having game missions to try and unlock 2% reductions in ship build time. Just do what needs to be done and make big reductions in ship build time, ship repair times, turret and base build and repair. The repair time is not too bad in the base. Turret build times are stupid. Weapon build times base are stupid. And again, it's all coming soon, so you know, maybe by end of December 2016 we'll have seen some changes. Looking forward to the BV show this week. I don't think it bodes well for their end of the 3-month period report. That it's taken them 3 months to even think about doing some of this stuff, let alone actually doing it. If I was slightly more awake, I would actually put it up and read it and give my 2 cents on it, but it's been a brutal couple of weeks at work, which is why I haven't streamed much, because I've been too busy. So had the slight opportunity to stream this evening for a bit, so I thought I'd do it. Pretty sure it's not showing up. I have a problem with the connection to my other monitor. Give me a really flickery image. Can't be bothered to climb under the desk to try and fix it. we'll give the on the map repair a go again in a bit, see if they've done anything to improve it, see if it actually works. And potentially it's really cool if you're doing things where you can instant repair between attacks. Gonna save a whole lot of time. Or what would have been better would have been being able to launch fleets from the map. That's probably a much bigger coding change, although I'm sure it wasn't trivial to allow repairs on the map, given that when they added the relocate from the map, they originally said you wouldn't be able to coin jumps from the map because you couldn't do transactions for gold on the map, and obviously now they've changed that, because when you click repair fleet on the map it gives you the option to do it for gold. So it can't have been insignificant, and it wasn't at all mentioned in any of the previous works in progress. It was something they were working on, and suddenly it was in the December work in progress, and it's in the update on the 2nd of December. It's all part of this big issue with communicating with your customers. Something that I get the impression that Kixeye don't think of people that play this game, some of who spend insane amounts of money, thousands and thousands of dollars a month. They still don't think of them as customers. If you treat your customers badly, they won't be happy, and I think it's pretty obvious from the big decline in activity in the game that people are leaving massively. I've not played much recently. I kind of been logging into chat to friends, and that's about it. I went out yesterday evening and got my alliance points, mainly seal clubbing, going out. I hit a bunch of, I hit some 70s, but mostly low 50s and 60s bases just to get it out of the way quickly. And I logged off again. I've done one acid rain run through. In the past I would have done all 5 to get off of hulls, but I'm not going to build Zoe's rhinos. Not that much better than original rhinos, and I've got those built and ranked. So why do I need a second fleet? I don't play War Commander, but occasionally when I'm bored, when there's nothing new I want to watch on YouTube, I will stick on the War Commander BV shows. Wow, they are massively unhappy, a lot like us, and things do not look bright for Kixeye's income if people are actually following up on the actions that they promise on shows like that. I think I picked up there's a massive spending boycott coming in War Commander, and people are generally, again, just not playing the game as much. And if people aren't playing, Kixeye aren't making money. The things they're offering to do at some point in the next year in Battle Pirates is not what they need to do. You don't need to introduce complicated schemes, reduce repair times, or 2% reductions in build times, which is the example in the state of the game thing. 2%, that's what, 2 hours out of a 2-day build. That really address the issue? they'd have a bigger impact on a large proportion of their players by introducing officers to players other than through Facebook accounts. That gives you a 10% reduction in build time and repair time. Offering 2% doesn't address the issue. And I'm sure it will cost to unlock that 2% reduction. I'm probably rambling a bit. I am, for Vlad, I am disappointed in what's been offered as a solution to the issues surrounding this game. I've seen a lot of my friends stop playing the game, and got to admit, it makes it less tempting to play. People are playing things like Fallout 4, Star Wars Battlefront. Not games that I particularly enjoy myself. My reactions are not quick enough for first-person shooters at all. Nice thing about this game, you can play it whilst playing a bit slower. Finding the FM a big chore as well lately. I'm not sure what to build next as a fleet, and I'm really tempted just to build some heavy cruisers with blade missiles on them with some countermeasures that will just auto 85s for minimal damage. It'd probably be a good workhorse fleet for other stuff as well, and I guess they'll work well in the Draconian uranium bases when they ever appear. Coming soon, guys, coming soon. I'm kind of depressed that I now use my Crusader fleet as my go-to fleet for so long. Kill Torp towers, and that's it. The only thing it's good for is to kill Torp towers in 85. It's no good for going out and farming low-level bases for alliance points, because if they've got pyro turrets, they melt. Could use it to do the FM, but let's try instant repair. And then I'll send it to dock and we'll see if it's repaired when I get back to my base. Let's try instant repairing that. Let's see if it worked. I've tried it a few times and it's not worked every time I've tried it. I'm not sure if I'm a little bit quiet. Hey Cyborg, welcome along. You've missed my rant and moan about... That's too loud. Missed my ranting and moaning about works in progress and stuff. Watch me grind the Forsaken mission for a bit. Actually, one thing I am excited about in new stuff that's been announced. Tier, I'm guessing it'll be tier 4. I'm guessing it's tier 4 of the FM. They're bringing out Phalanx 4 finally. So no, it didn't repair my fleet. Which is much needed. Hopefully it'll deal with lack of aid issues. Hopefully it'll have really good accuracy and it won't be too heavy, because I do like my anti-missile. The annoying thing is I'll probably end up having to refit about 3 or 4 ships. Come on, launch. We're waiting. My comment on the work in progress got flagged as a troll post. Someone obviously doesn't like it. Oh well. Nothing in it isn't true. Guess what? You now can't even instant repair and launch your fleet. That's progress for you. That's progress. I am going to be able to launch a fleet. Yeah, it doesn't work, Price. I just tried it on that fleet. I hit repair on the map and it didn't work. And I've tried it on a couple of other fleets and it doesn't work. There's a thread about it on the forums as well. I don't know if you were watching. I tried it between hits with the Crusaders on the 85, and the gunboat that died in the first one wasn't repaired either. I don't know if it's just free repairs that aren't working from the map, or if it's all repairs. I'm not going to test that. Try again with this one. I think this is number 4 or 5. red SCX there. There's only one at least. Not too bad. Looking forward to my heavy cruiser coming out, because I then won't have to bother kiting them. I should be able to sit there and they won't do too much damage. Running at it probably wasn't the brightest idea, was it? Hey, G-Daddy. Wow, lots of people watching. I am glad for the assault deflection on that prototype hunter, because even with the SCX is firing at it, it takes very little damage. When I forget to kite them. I haven't got enough damage to be able to see it to test if the repair on the map works. And see if there's an update on the on it not working. Oh, cool. Yeah, it's an issue with instant repair, and they're pushing a fix out soon. That's good. One second. Dogs were barking, just wanted to go and check it wasn't anyone at the front door. Yeah, people talking about the uranium cost for the new retros, which is insane if you haven't seen it already. I think all the new retros are at least 30k a pop. The new turret for a level 1 retro is 50,000 uranium. So that's going to be 200,000 a day by the time you're going from R11 to R15. I won't bother testing the map repair bit again until I've seen that they've pushed out a fix. Now what we need them to do is to take it a step further and let us repair on the map ships within a fleet that are instant repair. Mainly because that would make my battlecruiser fleet really cool in the raid. And because I could just instant repair it on the map and keep attacking stuff. have a look in the retro lab after I've done this one. Just to have a break for a few minutes. Noticed there was nothing in the state of the game about making the FM less of a chore. It's weird, when it first came out, and it was 50 million and 65 million, it was nuts. But because I used to take quite a bit of damage and it would take me all of the 3 days to do the double, it wasn't quite so bad as being able to do it in one sitting. And I generally don't even know I can do them for pretty minimal damage. I've spoken a few times about the other account that I've got that's it's a level 60 now, that's on a different platform in a different world, and I can just about do elite on that account, but that is that's hard work, and maybe that's why it feels so grindy now, because I'm trying to do 32 85s rather than 16. That might be my own fault. No, it's kind of fun. That it was fun, that account. It's with the lower tier of the game where there's no pressure, there's no alliance pressure. It's kind of cool. Now it's a level 60, it's not so much fun. You know, those lower levels, level 30 and 40, where you can go out and do stuff with fleets that take an hour to repair. Yeah, you're not doing elite FM and that sort of thing, but I enjoyed it for a while. I'm curious actually about the two new games that I've seen Ustream price, Robot Apocalypse, and I can't remember what the other one was, the Mars one. I am tempted to give those a go, maybe when I'm a bit less busy at work and actually sit down and play them for a decent amount of time. It does Cyborg, it does, but I enjoy playing with my friends, and I generally don't enjoy sector comms. It's nice having alliance comms to chat to your friends on. On the issue of being a target, I have seriously been considering pulling the guard out of my base. It's not been an issue lately because I've not had fleets to repair, because I've just not been playing the game enough. I have repairs stacked up, but I think my guard is 16 to 18 hours repair, something like that. And now people are getting heavy cruiser fleets built, or fleet that I've been having a lot of problems with is a heavy cruiser tank in front of rhinos with an Aegis. I've been hit by a couple of those and they have just walked through. I got hit by heavy cruisers without an Aegis yesterday, and I did manage to kill the fleet. for about 89% damage on my base. And I had nothing to repair, so it didn't matter that my guard is still repairing. You can see I hit repair when I got up this morning at 6:30. And it's now 12 hours later. I'm considering one refit to it before I think about pulling it. I want to refit the Wrath so that it's got better missile defense. If that doesn't work, then I think I should pull it out. Who knows? Yeah, I tend not to do voice comms normally for most of my playing. It's why I don't stream everything that I play, because I tend to sit with the family with my laptop. But I agree, you do get hit a lot less if you don't have a tag. And you get hit a lot less when you don't have an alliance that likes going out killing stuff. Yeah, so I've still got 3 and a bit hours left, and the guy who hit me didn't completely kill my guard. I think my enforcer survived. He rocketed the Mastodon out. So in theory, that needs a refit as well. But I think I could probably endlessly refit my guard and still not keep up. Halfway there. That pop-up's kind of annoying as well. And the fact that it seems like it's going to auto-recall your fleet for you. I know that they will be using different developers to do different things. So I'm guessing the team that implemented base repair, or sorry, map repair thing, aren't the team that are supposed to be doing the Alliance update or the Draconian Uranium bases for Sector Threat Orange. But we have a feature that doesn't actually quite work properly, that wasn't announced in any of the update information that I saw until it went live today. It was in the work in progress, in the state of the game thing, but that was released the day before. So they've put significant developer time into a feature that's good. But I'm sure those developers could have been helping with the things that they've been slipping continuously, that players really want, like being able to move people around in your alliance. Things that we were supposed to have almost a month ago. Exactly. As I said, I know it's going to be different teams. I'm assuming that different groups of devs are given different projects to work on. But if you've got a feature that you've not announced, particularly that's got devs working on it, and you've got two features that have been announced and are running significantly late, would it not make sense to pull the devs off of something that you've not exposed the player base to, fix the thing, or to implement the things you have? I don't normally browse the forums while I'm doing this, but I'm curious. I'll go back to the example that I used in my post on the forums, which was largely about them pulling the dates from the work in progress. If the company I work for told its customers, because we might have to change the dates we're going to deliver things to you, we're not going to tell you when we're even going to think about delivering them, they wouldn't put work with us. Taking that analogy a little bit further, if we turned around and said, oh sorry, we're going to be really late delivering what we told you we were going to do, but look, here's this shiny thing that doesn't quite work, again, are you going to get repeat business? No, you're not. It's pure Kixeye is purely relying on the fact that a whole load of us are hooked on this game. Yeah, that's similar. But telling you, hey, look, there's this really nice CD player in there that you didn't ask for, and you know, as long as you put an expensive CD in, it'll work. If you put a cheap one in, it won't. It's worse than not fixing it. It's telling we're going to fix your broken transmission, and don't worry, Mr. Customer, we will fix it. We can't tell you when we're going to fix it though, because we might be a bit late. So to avoid upsetting you by changing what we've told you, we just won't tell you. It's, as I said in the post up on the forums, it's a really weak way of dealing with the issue, and it's kind of childish, and I think Doom sometimes takes that. He seems to take criticism a little too personally. Yeah, keep him in the dark. He seems to take it really personally, and people, quite rightly, you're given a release date for a feature, the update comes out, the feature's not in there, and there's not been a message to say the feature's not coming, and people ask why. And the solution to that is not to go, oh well, I'm going to take my ball and I'm not going to play with you and I'm not going to tell you what's coming. I did read a post somewhere that said that there had been rumours or rumblings about not even posting a work in progress, which, we won't even go there. But having the attitude, well, I'm not going to tell you, is not grown up or professional at all. The guy's a community manager. A big part of that has got to be communicating with your community. Yeah, a big portion of the Battle Pirates community are arseholes, let's be honest. They are. But it doesn't mean that you can't tell people things and then change it. Cool, hopefully that means they've pushed the fix out. I'll try it in a minute. Most of the BP community, I can understand why they don't do it, but you can't plan your business around the lowest common denominator. People want information. That's why we watch shows like Battle Vortex, because you give us information. maybe I'm too grumpy to be talking today. I'm resorting to ignoring comms because otherwise I'm going to rant at someone on comms. We tried to relocate and get our alliance back together. We've been spread out a bit and we lost some members and thinned out a little bit. And so we thought it would be good to get everyone together. And someone said, I've jumped here because I didn't know where you all went. One of the recent additions to Battle Pirates is the ability to jump to an alliance member. And you can even see which sector people are in. So the fact that you don't know where we've all gone, apart from the fact that we've got a Facebook page where we post this sort of stuff. Yeah, it is like herding squirrels sometimes. Thankfully, I'm not the leader of the herd of cats, as I prefer to say. I was for a little while due to some issues in the group, but it's not my thing. I do try and post loads of information on our page, and I'm probably the person in our alliance that's most obsessed with Battle Pirates. And so I try to keep everyone up to date on stuff, and then people ask silly questions like, where have you all gone? Or some of you, who's in the sector we're going to? Open the relocate, look in the list, it tells you. I've been playing with some of these guys for so long. I worked out that I'd been in the alliance I'm in now since June last year. This week was my 80th week of getting my alliance points done. And before that I played with a few of these people in a different alliance. So we've known each other quite a while. And some of them have definitely slowed down their Battle Pirates playing. One guy used to be a BP nut like me. He was on a few of the Battle Pirate shows, and he's another maths whiz, and he done some really cool stuff, understanding why different weapons are better than others. And now he just plays Battle Pirates occasionally. I learnt a lot off him about building ships. Was probably one of the first really good fleet builders that I got to learn from. I know the alliance I'm in is a really mixed bunch as well, and I think that's possibly where some of the herding cats comes from. We've got people from all walks of life. We've got, intellectual types. We've got everything. And sometimes that mix is hard to control, I guess. Thankfully we haven't had any major personality clashes lately in the group. Happens sometimes. Something I had thought about doing. I did a little show on Macro Gamer. And before I put it online, I did a little bit of research to make sure that the Kickside didn't have aversions to macros. It's quite interesting for key binding things. They're quite happy. So the thing that I demonstrated was setting up controlling a fleet like this. So you'd have for example, I tend to use page up and page down. So page up would move the block of ships, so the Rhinos and the Aegis about, and then you just move the Neptune separately. And it got me to thinking that with cool, that's what I was expecting it to do, which I wasn't seeing when I was doing it, so maybe they've pushed the fix out quickly, which is good. I'll try it with this fleet in a minute. Yeah, what I had started to think about was cool, I'm glad someone's watched it, was whether I could just record a giant macro to attack either an 85 or some of the raid targets from the last raid, which got really grindy. But that is not allowed. Automation of attacking, so you don't have to be present, is not allowed, which is, it makes sense, I guess. I won't be doing that. Yeah. Go. Kind of thought it would just be an interesting challenge to try and record a macro that would work, and in some of the raid targets it would work quite well because you always spawn in at the same point. And so I thought, well, forgot to stop, carry on my guard repairing. But because you always spawn in at the same point, I thought, you know, you'll spawn in, you click go on the countdown timer, and then record all the clicks. Now, I suspect randomness in the game would mean it probably wouldn't work perfectly all the time, but I thought it would have been an interesting challenge to try and get it to work, but it's against the terms of service, so. But the macro game, binding keys for ships within a fleet, I used to find really, really useful. Yeah, it does work. That's cool. I don't like the idea of my fleet sitting stuck on the map like that. Bring that one back. But it'd be good for doing this bit. I guess in theory you only need one gunboat in there now. Yeah, I used it the most with Reapers. I either used to use my RAF for the reload or Phantom, and I used to use Reapers to prep dredges a lot, and having a macro to just move the Reapers made it a lot easier. I could place the Phantom as a marker on the map where I wouldn't get hit, and it was really useful for that. For driving an 85s, I don't really need it as much. It's a bit more variable where I want to send my ships, and I think when I did the demo I had to record 2 macros to use it because the Visago is used to deal with the ships, and the Neptune's used to deal with the turrets. And it's going to be the nice thing about getting this Neptune, dogs are annoying me again. Yeah, as I was saying, it's going to be one of the nice things about getting this this heavy cruiser built is that I won't need to use the Visago, so I can run my 3 Rhinos with it and get a bit more firepower. Unmute your microphone. Almost time to switch off, I think. That instant repair thing would be really good if you're picking apart 85s. I did an old video using a Jug X and a Triton and 2 Mastodons. And you could just about do a pod of turrets for instant repair. It would be really good for doing that. You wouldn't have to dock every time. And if you could pick apart raid targets, and the last raid, if you could trigger a few ships, kill them, if you take any damage, retreat, instant repair on the map. Has its uses. It has its uses. Yeah. I saw a thing on Facebook today. Floating dry dock ships. I think it was the US military used them during one of the world wars. And when a ship was badly damaged, they would float segments of the dry dock out to it, put it together, and take it out of the water. We could have, on the world map, a dry dock. And we could refit our ships on the map. For 15 billion uranium. I think we've just solved one of BP's biggest issues right there. What we need. Giant floating dry docks. I don't know if Price is still watching, but if you are, that's what I want to see talked about on the BV show. Giant floating dry docks. You pay uranium to dock your ship, you refit it, it comes back out. Yeah, it's definitely getting close to the time to have a break. Driving is getting less accurate. Yeah, would you pay 3 million uranium? Because that's what it'll be. One level of a weapon retrofit is 30k now. Scattergun retros, 30k a piece. I didn't see what the Trident ones were. Scatter turret thing, 50k per level of retrofit for level 1 to 5. Yeah, that's coming with Warehouse 15. You'll be able to store that much uranium. OP8 Warehouse level 15. I hadn't seen the retrofit costs because I was reading the forums while the game was down, and then I saw White Star had posted it on the BV page, and it's pretty nuts costs. The bonuses are, I guess they're okay. And turret gets a splash bonus. The Drac Coax is now in the retrofit as well. I don't know if it was in there before. I hadn't looked at turrets in a while. And it's in two. It's in the countermeasures one, and it's in the frontline turrets one. No, haven't. I'm sure it's been talked about a couple of times, but I can't remember what the conclusions were. Wow, that's a lot of lag. I know they have / had a plan from the life. They had a plan with Vega to deal with the fact that Unity support is being pulled, and so I assume that if they need to port Battle Pirates, they will have a plan for it. Vega was going to Steam, I believe, back when BV had a Vega conflict show. Some of them were beta testers for that, and apparently it was great. No lag. Go from your base to the map really quickly. So I'm sure they have plans. They'll probably be late delivering them. You know. You know, Battle Pirates will, in its true recent traditions, they'll tell us they're going to port it on a certain date, and that date will come, and it won't happen. And then they'll get upset when we ask why. I'm not up to date enough on web-based stuff to know. I've heard a little bit about HTML5, but not enough. I'm not a web person, really. I guess if Doom Rooster ever has the I don't know if guts is the right word, if he's ever on the BV show, maybe they can ask him if they've got plans to deal with Flash being pulled. I guess it's going to affect a whole lot of games though. How many games on Facebook run on Flash? Maybe it's not many now. But there must have a plan to deal with it. Maybe Flash will be around long enough to see this game hemorrhage its way to having no players left. I realised today I'd read the work in progress and stuff, and I was pondering writing a post in the car driving home from work, and I realised that the last time I spent money on this game was 2 or 3 months ago now, whenever that last really good gold offer was, which happened to coincide with when I got a bonus from work, and that's the last I've spent. got to admit I'm not keen on spending more at the moment. I don't spend a lot on this game. I never have. I've done the occasional binge purchase, you might call it. But when the big gold offer was on, I did it to finish coining these, and I coined my Banshee fleet. Before that, I coined probably 50% of the Crusader fleet. But generally, other than that, it's maybe a couple of hundred gold a month. Generally, I coin dock repairs and raids. Occasionally, I've done it for the time limited campaigns now. But I don't need the latest time limited campaign. I don't need Zoe's Rhinos. The last raid I did for free. I'm expecting the next one I'll hopefully be able to do. It's a 6-day raid. I will only need whatever new stuff they bring out plus tokens. And I don't need to do it all on the first day. So, kind of what I'm trying to work out what to build as the next fleet. I want to start building something that will help when Rhinos become obsolete. I think heavy cruisers is maybe a good step for that. It's that, Tiger Sharks, and traditionally kicks eventually make it so that subs aren't useful in raids. So they'll have a limited shelf life for doing raids, which is maybe why heavy cruisers are good, or whatever we're going to get in the December raid. And most of those year-old ships won't be worth building now, though. The limiteds generally are, I guess. I've got Grimshine's Wrath, the second one that I've never built. I've got another Aegis I could build. MCXs were my first big prize. And I was so disappointed when they just couldn't cut it anymore. I kind of shelved them when I couldn't go out and kill level 50 bases for alliance points with them. Nope. So many holes. The Nova Storm, not worth building. I never built Kodiaks, not worth building now. Never built a decent Mercury fleet. The one I built was crap, not worth building now. V2Hs, I've spoken about a few times. I've got 3 built. One that's in my guard, the other 2 are useless. V2Cs, never built, never will. Hellhounds, never built, never will. It's not worth. Generally, V2H is the exception to that, to this rule. Generally, it's not worth building tech that's more than a few months old these days. And it's why I don't plan ship builds much longer than that now. I used to have a massive planned list of ship builds. It's just not worth it. And that's kind of why I might wait and see what comes out in the December raid and build that next. And then the next ship I'm going to build, but that's it. Well, I sort of know. I want to build a Wake Module Monarch. Yeah, it's where getting players quick into good alliances helps, and you can tell them not to waste their time on things like that. That's one of the things that when I started out my other account, I don't think it's even got hammerheads or floating fortresses researched. Seawalls is the only, probably the ship to stop at for research tech. As long as you've got seawalls built and you get some help, you can grind out getting yourself a decent price hull now these days. It would be really good if in the rebalance some of the older hulls that can just about cut it, like the Mercury, and Mercury's didn't move far enough. The Mercury's probably not the best example because it's got a really short build time anyway. But you know, interdictors, the hulls, what, 4 or 5 days to build. Compare that to a Rhino, which is 2 days to build. You know, a hull like that should be, you know, a 12-hour build now. Yeah. And then, you know, you can win the interdictor really early in the FM. You could probably build yourself a fleet with, I don't know, Assault Disruptor missiles, and that should take you, you know, a few days per ship realistically for the lifespan it's got. It's a good transitional fleet for someone. But if you tried to actually build that, you're probably talking a weaker ship maybe. Not more, by the time you want to put armour on it as well. And it's not a top end fleet, it's a fleet that might help you transition. So I am going to call it a day here. I'm tired and hungry. Been a really good stream. It's been cool to have some people watching. I am normally here around being away to myself because I tend to stream at bad times for people. Quick shout outs, Cyborg, been good to have you along. GDaddy who just disappeared by the looks of it, and Bryce, thanks for popping in and thanks for hosting. It'll be on YouTube obviously. Catch you later guys.